gonna walk through those, and the best way to do it is to really do it through the people who really direct and live in the space and have all of the high touch with all of the amazing students. And I'm gonna hand off to the technical lab director, Joey Gottbroth. Joey.
Hey, Eric, thanks for the intro. So my name is Joey Gottbroth, and there's a team of 5 design specialists, and you're going to meet a lot of those folks today. And we are located here within the Jacobs Institute, and more primarily within the makerspaces within the Institute. So we're each going to take a minute to introduce ourselves, and then we're going to also take a minute to show you around some of the space itself. So there's 2 main ways to interact with the makerspace here. So one is you can get what's called a maker pass. You'll all get maker passes as you start your MDes program, and that will carry on through the whole time you're here. And that maker pass actually lets you have physical access to the makerspace and the facilities that you're going to see today. Over the pandemic, though, we developed a system called JPS, Jacobs Project Support, and we're keeping that going outside of the pandemic as we kind of getting out of this pandemic, returning back to having students come on campus and into the makerspace. We kept that JPS system in place because we found it's a really equitable way to serve our users. So that JPS system basically allows for submission of your design, and then we fabricate the parts and then hand them back to you. And that works really well with 3D printing and laser cutting, shop bot jobs, pretty much anything CNC that you might need a part for, but you don't really have the interest or inclination to take the hands-on training to get access to it and to go through the heavy lift of maybe learning a new piece of software that you'd only need for one part. So that JPS system is new and it's sticking around. When we popcorn up to Nicole, she's actually sitting up in the 3D printing, one of our 3D printing labs that handles the Jacobs Project Support submissions. And so she'll give you a little bit of insight into that too. But I'm located here in the 120 side of our first floor makerspace. And so I'm going to show you around a little bit. It's a pretty popular area, not just for some of the equipment, but for some of the big open work surfaces. So really great place to come and work on a design with your teammates around these big tables. This space also has the wood shop side of it. So your normal wood shop equipment like table saws, band saws, drill press are all located back here too. I've worked in a lot of different shops in the Bay Area and around the country, but this I think has the most well-lit space. It opens right up onto our patio where we have outside works areas too. And so this tends to be where the dirtier fabrication happens outside of the metal shop, but there's other equipment for photos and a small PCB mill in the corner. Our largest laser cutter in the building is here. So this one has a 2-foot by 4-foot bed, and we use it for cutting acrylic and plywood. And then we have our shop bot here. So this is a 4x8 shop bot CNC machine dedicated in this room here for fabrication. And we sell materials for all of these tools. So in the back, we have 4x8 sheet goods storage back here. And we also have all of our plywood and acrylic sized to the laser cutters. So you come in and you can buy a piece of 2x4 plywood to cut on that machine. We don't have to break that down yourself. It's all ready for you. And so this first floor makerspace is the biggest one in the building. This is, again, the 120 side. We keep our tools really well organized so that you may not even have to know what a box cutter is. But if you come up to this board and you know what it looks like, then you'll be able to find it and you'll be able to know if it's missing. Somebody has out the 16-foot tape measure. We're going to have to go find that. So this is, again, the 120 side. On the 110 side, it's a little bit cleaner. We do have some smaller laser cutters over here and a really robust reservation system that allows students to reserve the machines to use them. We're not very busy this week, so it's not too many people in here, but a lot of that kind of equipment is in here in 110. So I'm going to also popcorn it over to another design specialist, Cody Glenn, who's right over there, and he's going to talk a little bit more about this side.
Hey, how you guys doing? So my name is Cody Glenn. I'm one of the design specialists here at the Jacobs Institute. Right now I'm sitting with Lucy and Ethel. These are two KUKA Agilis robots. These are industrial robots, and they're, you know, as you can see, I'm doing a drawing exercise right over here. And then I just installed a kind of a gripper hand on this one. So if you have questions about robots, or you have questions about, you know, design and fabrication, my background is in architecture, so I'm kind of here to help you with whatever questions you might have regarding those kinds of subjects. So, but yeah, these are, you know, our robots. They're certainly a lot of fun to play around with. These are kind of just positional devices, and you can kind of put whatever tool you want on the end of it. So they're a lot of fun to play around with and to invent new tools for. Yeah, we can see. Yeah, kind of fun. So yeah, that's kind of it for these robots. There's a lot of equipment in this area. We have an electronics lab, which is over here. There's a sewing area. We have, like, you know, a vacuum former over here. So there's a lot of opportunities essentially to you know, play with all these different pieces of equipment and make the things you're really interested in making. So that kind of does it for me. Who can we pass it off to now?
Let's go to Chris Parcell up in the Advanced Printing Lab. Chris, you ready for us?
Sure. How's it going? Yeah, I'm one of the design specialists as well. I manage the 3D printing resources up in the Advanced Prototyping Lab. So these are kind of like our more expensive 3D printers for the most part, anyway. Some of them are not quite so expensive, but they range from some of these expensive Stratasys printers, like the Waterjet printers, which print multiple materials. I'm trying to find my camera. Things like this that can print sort of the same type of material, but different colors and tactility, like rubbery materials, things like that. And our Fdm printers as well print your usual kind of like filament prints. This is one with the support material still on it, which can get dissolved in that lye bath there. And then on this end, we have the SLA printers, which print resin materials like this. And this is a part which became a peristaltic, peristaltic pump. This is an elastic material that prints on the Form 3s as well. And these are some of the tough resin, which when printed really thin, have this really nice like strength but flexibility. So that's the SLA printers there, the Form 3s. Over here is our larger filament printer, the Fortis, which like the other filament printers, prints ABS, but it is a much larger build area. It's the largest build area that we have, I believe. It's 14 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. And it's an oldie, but a goodie when it's behaving. And so this one right here is our newest printer, I believe. And this is the Mark Forged printer, and it prints nylon mixed with carbon fiber, chopped carbon fiber in the filament. And it all optionally also prints a solid strand fiber reinforcement. So if you load it with carbon fiber, it prints solid filament carbon fiber into the parts, or fiberglass or Kevlar. And so it prints these kind of composite prints, which are really great for mechanical properties. Things like, gears, end effectors for robots, brackets. This is a brake lever for a bike, things like that. And I think that covers all the printers up here. And so yeah, I'm typically up here managing. I've kind of taken on the sort of management of these tools up here. My background is in studying architecture and digital fabrication. I also have experience with CAD/CAM at CNC, a little bit with electronics, and computer programming, things like that. Yeah, that's about it for me. Hope to see you guys around. Who should I pass it off to?
Let's go to Gary in the basement. Got your mic on, got your muted there, Gary.
You're on
There you
mute.
go.
Okay, hang on. Get this out of the way. Okay. Hey, everybody, I'm Gary Jin, one of the design specialists, and my background is in electronics and combat robotics. And once you're done 3D printing and laser cutting everything, and you want to make something more durable, you can come down here to our metal shop. So probably one of the most popular machines down here is our Omax Waterjet cutter. You can cut any two-dimensional shape out of a piece of whatever material. This thing will cut anything, pretty much anything, up to 6 inches thick. So very popular machine. Another 2D cutter we have over here is the Fablite laser cutter. You can cut up to 1/8 inch thick aluminum or steel or even stainless steel on this machine. It's very, very fast, very nice machine. And then once you've cut out all your parts, you want to stick them back together, you can come back here and use our TIG welder to weld your pieces together. But be aware that TIG welding does take a lot of time to learn how to do and be good at. We've got some, just traditional metalworking tools like a drill press and bandsaw. And then once you work your way up to the 3D realm, we do have a manual milling machine. And we also have a small CNC, 3-axis CNC milling machine as well. So, and yeah, we do stock metals to use. Mostly steel and aluminum. So that is a big overview. And this is, there's even some longer like tube stock and bar stock we have back there as well. So this is our metal shop. And I guess we should pass it up to Nicole.
Hi. So I'm up here in the 3D printing room. For those of you who may not have seen a 3D printer before, here's one in action. So it's printing right now. It's basically going around and laying down layer by layer of a soft plastic, a thermoplastic that will harden as it cools. And eventually it will create a 3D part such as this. And when it's done, we basically peel it off the bed. I just want to give you, because this is the fun part, peel it off the bed with a little spatula, and then we have our part. So this service is available to all students, faculty, and staff. So basically you just sign up using our online cloud-based queuing service called 3D Printer OS, and then you're able to send your prints from anywhere, and they'll queue in line. You can choose which color you want to print in based on which printer. We've got a few different fun colors going on right now, some orange, and you can print anything. So during certain busy times of the semester, we request that you don't do personal projects and you just do academic projects, but during the less busy times, personal projects are totally fine. We ask that people keep their prints under 24 hours and that they only print one thing at a time. But other than that, you can print as much as you want within the limits that we have. You can totally make use of that service. And it just bills to your Cal Central. We only charge for materials. So it's usually under a few dollars per print. So yeah, I hope that you make use of the service, get familiar, get comfortable with 3D printing. If you don't know what you might want to 3D print, I'm going to put a link in the chat right now, thingiverse.com. That is an online repository of free 3D model files. So you can browse through there and find something that you think would be cool to have and download that file and send it to print. So you don't have to learn how to do 3D modeling before you get started 3D printing. Of course, you can do 3D modeling and make your own file in a software like Fusion 360, SolidWorks, Rhino, and that's also totally great. That gives you more control over the file and you're able to iterate it. You can totally make Halloween costumes exactly And yeah, we see a lot of fun things come through here. So I encourage you to try it out. Has anybody not gone?
Yeah, let's popcorn it over to Adam.
Adam.
Oh, sure. Hi, everybody. For the second time, you met me just a few minutes ago in my capacity as a lecturer. So I'll be really brief, but I typically specialize in casting, CNCing large objects on the shopbot downstairs, and also some electronics prototyping work. So I just want to also highlight that in addition to some of the material offerings of the Makerspace, we also host workshops and trainings, which was called out by Roland in the chat just now. And so you can get trained on any of the equipment, and then you gain full access to that equipment. And so we see lots of students come in challenging themselves to get trained on every piece of equipment that we offer trainings for. And some students achieve that in the first semester or two that they arrive. So some students are more specialized in, laser cutter is their jam, or 3D printing on the Ultimakers is their jam, but there's really equipment that you can scale your skills on aplenty in Jacobs Hall. So right back to you, Joe.
Adam. Yeah, thanks. Adam's a good example of one of those community members who bridges communities as a lecturer and as a studio staff. Another person that does that is Georgios, who is an MDes student getting ready to graduate, I believe, and is also a student supervisor. So Georgios, you want to take it over from here?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. So I have to say 3 semesters in the program, I'm still excited every time I see the Makerspace. I don't know why. So yeah, hello everyone. I'm Georgios Grigoriadis. My background is in architecture, and I'm in digital fabrication. I come from Greece. As Joy said, I'm part of the first cohort, graduating in 6 weeks. I'm here today in the studio. I used to be the studio officer of the Student Association, and I'm sitting, so to give you some context, I'm sitting today in the studio in room 210. So we're sitting above the Makerspace that Cody and Joy were a little earlier. So yeah, this is where you will probably spend most of your time during the program. This is where you will become dear friends with most of your peers. And to give you like an overview of the space, we have like 2 spaces, 210 and 220. This is where Roland is right now. And so the space is quite big, I have to say. There is a small selection of tools where you have like the opportunity to prototype something quickly and run down to the Makerspace to go beyond. You will also have a dedicated desk space, I think during the 2nd semester of your studies, where you have personal storage, where you can log your stuff. A lot of us brought our monitors and we work up late here. And also, what else? You have access 24/7, pretty much the whole day and night here. So you will be able to like really dive into your projects while being in the studio. And with that, I think I'm the last one.
Yeah, I think our part is done, Eric. I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, thanks. Yeah, thanks to all of you. Thanks, Joey and Cody and Gary and Adam and Nicole and Chris and of course George. Amazing space. I do want to emphasize that, like many of you, I like looking at the cool tools and technologies, but it's really the people that make this all come together. And as you kind of got a sense of, everyone has really deep knowledge about all types of different material usage and technologies and techniques, and you can just learn a lot by spending time, and really they run workshops. It's really the space that comes alive. I've said it before, but it's this whole kind of come for the laser cutter, but stay for the community sort of thing. So a lot of people, I get it, you just need to cut something and then you end up going, what is that material? How did you do that? How do I get these things to work together? So it's a really fantastic, really the culture and energy in our space. I'm so proud of it. And it really is driven by this dedicated team of design specialists. And to George's point, the studio, I'll just say when we started this program, it was very important that it was an in-residency studio. We didn't want to have a program where people kind of came, took classes, and just dispersed. We wanted to build in that deeper conversation and cross-pollination and collaboration that studio culture brings you to a design program. And I have to say, it's been great to see that really come to fruition with the students that are in the studio now. I mean, I get energy sometimes. Look, we all have a little bit of like a rough day, and I just walk in the studio and I just look at desks and start talking with students, and that's my medicine. That's my medical plan now. So that's helping me out. So lots of great energy. And like the things in the chat, there's people can use the space. You'll actually encounter people from all around campus, because as you're seeing in the chat, Jacobs is really an open community to a lot of disciplines. MDes students also have access to space in Bauer Worcester Hall, which is where the architecture and the College of Environmental Design are, and there's actually maker spaces there and some even additional tooling and technologies. I dropped a link into the chat of, if you can endure having me walk around campus for 20 minutes, you can kind of see even more of these spaces and some research spaces as well. And I even, full disclosure, I work on a lot of research projects with my graduate students, and I work with the students, but I work on, I'm trying to restore an old Italian motorcycle, and I'm in kind of cutting things and working on things. So you'll find me in there doing things as well. All right, so thank you all.